start with questions in the room and go to Zoom.
You played 31 minutes. All the starters were, pushing 40. Did you get a sense of a playoff feel, of like a heightened sense of basketball out there?
Yeah, they're a great team. They had their guys. It was an energetic arena. Even for a 12 o'clock tip, it was an electric atmosphere from the jump. So it was definitely heightened sense of awareness for the competition level, and luckily we rose to the challenge.
In your perspective, what makes Luka so good in that 5 to 10 foot range from the basket, especially as the Bucks were playing a lot of drop?
You could write a book about that. His touch, his reads, his size, his hands, his quickness, his ability to understand where his strengths are and where the defense's weaknesses are, understanding the flow of the game and how defenses slowly adjust to different things and how he tries to stay one step ahead of that. He's a special player. There's tons of things you say about especially that specific spot on the court for him.
Your connection with Luka, I know we talk about it a lot, but it almost just seems empty at this point. Like there's not a lot of, verbal confirmation or a lot of thinking that has to go on with you guys to know where you both are. At what point did you notice it kind of hit this level of just like almost no need for specifics, if that makes sense?
Neither of us are mic'd up most of the time, so our conversations are not necessarily for public consumption, but there is still verbal communication, and we got to always kind of readjust because, like I said, defenses have to do a whole bunch of different things to try and take him out of his game. So he lets me know what to be prepared for and different spots to be in, and different situations require different spacing and different actions on my part. So I have to be ready for those and try to read them best I can. But if I don't, he lets me know, and he also lets me know what to be prepared for if I'm subbing into a game or if he sees something that could potentially be there. So there still is a lot of communication. Nothing is assumed. Obviously, there's reads that have to be made, and you become more comfortable as the season goes on and learn how guys are playing. But there's still a lot of communication, and even more as we continue to move forward into this next phase.
Jason said, I guess it was Friday, that this coming week he's going to be talking with some guys about potentially resting or just kind of looking at this next week heading into the playoffs. You're on pace to be one of like 4 or 5, 6 guys that can play 82 this year. How much of an emphasis, knock on everything, sorry to speak that into the universe. How much is an emphasis or a point of pride for you, especially not that far removed from Achilles surgery?
Yeah, for sure. Being able to be there for my guys and compete is definitely something that was on my mind at the beginning of the year. You want to be able to be there for your guys and play as many games as possible and be effective as possible and contribute to winning games. So that's definitely a point of pride for sure.
So you don't think he wants to rest?
We're going to rest tomorrow. Hopefully we take care of business and remain in the spot we are, and we'll have some time. But at the end of the day, I love competing, and I love being out there with my guys and trying to help win in any way I can.
What's your comfort level playing kind of quarterback on a short roll and making the next pass as compared to where it was maybe earlier in your career?
Comfort level?
Yeah, it's something that I've noticed that you're doing effectively a lot more often.
I don't know how you want me to specifically quantify comfort, but I try to make the best reads possible. Some teams help from the strong side, some teams help from the weak side. Some guys have a full body help from the tag or from the low man. So going in, it's about scout and talking to our coaches about what to expect. But a lot of time, Luka's going to kind of throw you into position that it's kind of obvious the play to make. So I try to make the simple plays when I'm in there.
When you don't have a game like you had the other night, how much eagerness is there to kind of get back on the court as soon as possible to kind of make amends sure that's not who you are and that type of thing?
Having a rough game like that, it happens. So we definitely want to bounce back, but the focus is always on improvement regardless of if we won our last game by 20 or lost by 20 or lost at the buzzer or whatever it may be. The emphasis is always on improvement, so we kind of approach every game that way, and we approach every scout that way. And obviously we didn't like to lose like that, but we would have prepared for this game the same way regardless of how the previous game went.
You talked about Luka's reads, and how does this feel under the basket, kind of reminiscent of what you see in the international game, and how has he kind of made some of those concepts translate over to both the pace of your team but also the league in general?
It's kind of hard to compare Luka's game specifically to any other league or any other players. He's a very special player. So, yeah, I'm not sure how I would even compare those two things.
Being a Canadian-born player, I mean, obviously the NBA has its footprint in Canada, but you're representing your home country in the NBA. What does that mean to you? How do you take some of those concepts from what you've learned from the national team and use those kind of on a day-to-day basis in the NBA?
Yeah, it's a huge point of pride for me, for sure, to compete for my country in the off season and to represent my family and friends and nation in the league. And it's super cool to see over the years more and more Canadians getting drafted, signing contracts, playing, being stars in this league. So that's also a huge point of pride for me to see those guys being successful. But definitely being in the international system, growing up and playing against grown men at a younger age and being able to compete in a quote-unquote must-win situation on a regular basis with the national team taught me a lot about competing, a lot about playing hard, and obviously the skills of the game.
All right. Thank you, Dwight.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Appreciate it.